So I have this document on my page, and I want to just start exploring some of the tools and how to use this screen. And over here on the tools, there's this square, and it has a little triangle in the corner. If you hold your mouse over it, it gives you a little video of how to use or make whatever's on this button. But the triangle in the corner means that there's other tools underneath this tool. So if I click and hold, I can see there's not just a rectangle I can make, but an ellipse, polygon, a star, and a line segment. So I'm going to start off with the rectangle tool, but I want you to know that there's a little triangle in the bottom of this button because there's other shapes underneath it. So I have this rectangle, and now it's ready to make a rectangle. So I can click on the screen and it'll say, well, how big do you want to make it? And maybe you don't know how big you want to make your rectangle, but you can put some information into the box and it'll draw your rectangle. Or the other way is to click and drag, and then you can create the rectangle that you want to create. Now, when you create a rectangle, it gives you like a default, a black outer line with white content. But if I want some different colors, I'm going to click back on that rectangle. There's stroke, which is the outer line, and fill, which is the inside color. So if I change this to pink, because that item was selected, it changed that color. But I don't want to change that. I want to create my own brand new rectangle with different colors. So I did click off of it with using the selection tool, clicked back on my rectangle, and now I can change my, let's use pink, and I want my stroke to be something really different so you can see it. And I'm going to actually increase my stroke. Let's put 7 points. So if I draw my rectangle now, you can see the fill is pink, the stroke is that purple, and its stroke is thick because I use 7 points. So you can change the stroke and the fill. Some other things you can do. If I click on this black arrow tool, it's called a selection tool. This tool allows me to round up the edges. So if you see anything on this, you can usually change something by grabbing onto these handles. Sometimes it'll just change the size, sometimes it'll round up the edges, or it can do different things. Let's getting familiar with some of the tools. So ellipse works the same way. If I hold my shift key down, let's see, I'm going to hold my shift key down, it drags a perfect circle. But if I don't hold my shift key down, I can make an oval or different sizes of shapes. There's also the polygon and the star. I feel like most of these tools you can now use just knowing the basics, but I want to take a look at the star. And the star has 5 points, but if I click before, this is like we did at the beginning, so I'm not clicking and dragging, I'm just clicking with my mouse. I can say maybe I want 9 points, and I can determine the radius if I want to. I'm going to leave those numbers there because I know that I have handles and I can make this bigger or smaller after it's on the screen, but now I have those 9 points of that star. So if I want to make a triangle, I can click and say I need 3 sides, and it made a triangle. So that's just working with some shapes and getting familiar with Illustrator and using some of these tools in stroke and fill.